the bulk of your time should not be spent on, leads that are aspirational research in nature. You should be working them down the funnel, and the ones that are transactional, those are the ones you're out showing houses to.
That's right.
300 mortgages closed last year. He made like $8 million. That's what he does every day. And sometimes it's the first call gets an appointment. Sometimes it's 40 calls and gets an appointment.
Mm-hmm. All right. Here's the primary concept you have to understand as an open house. It is not about the house. It is a real estate store, and the product is you, your knowledge, your information, your skill set. Hey, as you guys are coming in, let us know where you're joining us from. We're excited to get into some great content today. Man, while we're just waiting for people to get in, what in the world with stock market and tariffs? It's been nuts this week. I mean, it's been the stock market tanked 1,600, then recovered like 24. I mean, it's just insane. Anyway.
Yeah, it was nuts.
And it feels like, I think the only reason I mention that is just because I think it's just caused a lot of people to kind of go just push pause or panic or whatever. Like what the heck is going on? So, but as RL and I were thinking about this, our content, I'm like, look, how can we contribute massively to agents right now? Because we're in this sort of place of uncertainty, and so what you're going to get today is you're going to get everything. We're giving everything away today. So even if you're here and you know a friend that needs to be here, send them a registration link, and they can join a little bit late. Hey Terry, good morning. But anyway, here's what I can tell you. So it's 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Let's go ahead, and I want to be respectful of you guys this time. Here's what I know about the people that are joining today. You are serious about your career. You scheduled something and you showed up to a training at 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning. Okay. And so what I want you to do is, first of all, give us your full attention. We're going to be coming at you with tons of content, with tons of information, with tons of resources. Make sure you're taking notes. Hey, Chelsea, good to see you. And, for somebody like Chelsea, who's been through six-figure school, this might be a refresher for you, Chelsea, but I'm certain that you're going to have some takeaways and some good things that you can implement in your already successful business. So proud of what you've been doing out there, Chelsea. It's awesome. It's great to see.
After we wrap up, there's going to be an email that goes out. It's going to have 5, maybe 6 PDF downloads for you for free for joining today. So thanks for being here. We're kind of, this is like a movement for us. We're just trying to go to like, how much content can we create and just give it away?
That's right.
So that's what we're doing now.
All right. Well, let's jump in. Let's go ahead and jump into the content here. And so, the first thing that we need to understand, and I'm going to do sort of a truncated version of all of our stuff, and we're going to have some opportunities for you to engage further, but there's enough here where if you just want to take this and run with it, you can be massively successful. So again, make sure you're taking notes. Make sure you are writing down, take this seriously. So here's what I can tell you about the market also in all of this volatility and all this craziness is that it matters less what's going on in the marketplace. It matters less what's going on in Washington, D.C. It matters less what's going on in, random cities that, the media is deciding to report on. What matters most is what's happening in your daily activity, in your market, and your economy. And I think this is one of the things that a lot of real estate agents don't understand. You have an economy and you have the ability to affect that economy, to affect the people that you know in a positive way. What are you telling them, by the way? And you need to be thinking about that. Are you saying, oh man, it's just really tough out there. Things aren't working. I don't know what's going on with the market. Well, look, here's what I can tell you. Who's going to want to buy a house from someone who's negative Nelly all the time? So switch to a positive format. By the way, somebody's always buying and closings are happening every day. So while it might not be a good market for everyone to buy, it is a good market for some people. And what are you saying to them? And who are they? All right. So let's just go ahead and jump into lead generation. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Our whole kind of screen here is taken up by the slides. So we're going to periodically jump back and check for comments. So don't feel like you're left behind. We will check for comments, but it might just be in periodic intervals.
Yeah, and we'll improve this. We're working on a new platform today as we're kind of moving forward in our webinar series. So stay in tune with what we're doing and we'll improve over time. So let's talk about lead generation theory for just a minute. And I want to talk about understanding leads. And this is something that comes up all the time because real estate agents are always like, hey, am I going to get leads? Well, how do I get more leads? All right. First of all, I could hand you a white pages and that's technically leads. Now, the conversion rates are going to suck, right? But that is a lead by any sort of technical definition. Now, what most agents think they mean is buyers that are, ready to buy and sell right now. That's also not very realistic in terms of, yes, you can find buyers and sellers that can sell right now, but that's not going to be all the leads you get. And so we have to find a way to categorize leads and to follow up with them appropriately. So you're not always, grinding. And so we'll teach you how to do this over time. Now you have to grind at the beginning. We're going to teach you how to build this in a pipeline in such a way that it's going to produce leads for you on a consistent basis through your database. All right. So the first thing that you have to understand is that there are two types of leads. There's cold and warm. Cold are people who don't know you. Warm are people who do know you. And there are two ways that you interact with them. Outbound is I'm reaching out to them. Inbound is they're reaching out to me. So that breaks down into 4 pillars of lead generation, which is cold outbound, cold inbound, warm outbound, warm inbound. Now, I can take any real estate agent on the planet, and if they're having trouble in their business, I can look and say, okay, well, what are you doing for lead generation in each of these 4 areas? And what I can most of the time tell you, if somebody's struggling in their business, it's usually they're using just one or maybe a second. They have not figured out how to employ all 4 of these simultaneously. That's what we're going to talk about today. That's what's going to revolutionize your business is we have to stop thinking linear. We have to open up in terms of, hey, what constitutes lead generation and what am I doing on a daily basis? We're going to build the program for you right now. So let's move to the next. The next is the lead stages, which are, this is basically an acronym, ART, aspirational. These people love to look at houses. They might drop into your open house, but they're going to convert at 12 to 18 months and usually at a rate less than 5%. And when you're buying leads online, if you're spending $5, $10, $15 a lead, this is usually what you're getting. And so a lot of agents will be like, well, these leads don't work. I'm like, well, look, if you're buying leads from a lead system, you just have to understand what they are. They're top of funnel leads. They're 12 to 18 months and you've got to follow up and you're digging for gold. You might turn up another one every couple of months that's able to buy something, but only with consistent calling, consistent follow-up, and you're just working the dog out of the phone.
This is why if you start any new lead generation platform, you need to give it at least 12 months before you've made a decision on it, because a lot of the leads in these lead generation platforms are aspirational in nature. Yeah. Number 2, the other thing we see a lot is agents spend far too much time in the aspirational research categories. They'll spend weeks at a time on these leads that aren't going to buy for 12 to 18 months. We're not saying that you shouldn't reach out to these people, that you shouldn't keep them engaged, but the bulk of your time should not be spent on leads that are aspirational research in nature. You should be working them down the funnel, and the ones that are transactional, those are the ones you're out showing houses to.
That's right.
Those are the ones you're out spending your daily activity on, and you're keeping the other ones engaged through different means.
Yeah, that's right. And the research people are the people who go, hey, RL, I am thinking about buying a house this year. I want to buy a house this year. I promise you it's at least 6 months. By the time they get things up and running and arrange their life and get their house ready to sell or get ready to buy, or I've got to finish this thing with the kids' school or whatever the case may be, I promise you it's at least 6 months. The
most common person in the research phase, I feel like, is someone who's leasing. And they're like, hey, my apartment lease is up in October.
Yep.
And I don't want to lease again. Mm-hmm. And so like you've got to keep them engaged so that when that, a couple of months before that comes up, that you're starting to look for houses and get them under contract.
That's right. Your transaction leads are the people that are actively in a life event buying right now. And so we're going to talk about on the next slide. So here's why people move. Because people move on, they don't move because they want to. They move because they typically have to. There's some major life event. So when we're talking to people and sorting out, are they aspirational research or transactional? This is what you're looking for. You're looking for, hey, I graduated from college. I got a new job. We just got engaged, or we're getting married. We just got some pets. We're having a baby. Hey, we got to downsize because it's getting really tight out there. We're going through a divorce. We want to move closer to the grandkids, or somebody just died. Okay, so it can be a little bit dark, but this is what you're looking for when you're talking to somebody. You need that life event. If you don't have that life event, by the way, I have to learn this over and over again too, because we'll take right now in a market like this, an agent will take whatever's coming, anybody that wants to look at a house, and they're not taking the time to decipher where these people are at in their life, and then they get frustrated.
Yeah, you've probably heard the term like, I can't get my clients off the fence. Well, you don't get clients off the fence. Like, they make a decision that they're going to move, and you're there to help them. So you can't force them into one of these nine Ds. They need to be going through some sort of life event. Is there someone out there who's moved because they just felt like it? Yeah, probably. Yeah. But it's the percentages are so low. Like, they need some sort of reason to move. People don't just move because they like to.
The reason is because it's freaking difficult. And it's real
terrible.
hard.
It's terrible.
I mean, who likes moving? Right? So, all right. So let's, we'll keep moving. We got a lot to get through today. So here's what clients need to know when you're speaking to them. So first of all, you're deciphering, hey, what's the life event that they're going through? And then you need to basically communicate with them who you are, right? And understand where they are in the process. So the first thing, what clients need to know is they need to know your company's reputable. They need to like you as an individual salesperson or consultant, or however you want to refer to yourself, but they need to know and like and trust you, okay? They need to be good with the product, whatever the house is. It's like, hey, we want a 1,500 square foot house, right? In this particular neighborhood. They need to understand the price. And this is also people who are in the research phase are matching their price point, right, with the product, right? Because they start, how many times do you guys see this? We're starting with, hey, we're going to spend $500,000 and we want this product. You're like, well, good luck. We're going to have to get outside of, that particular neighborhood in most cases. So we're matching, or we're going to need to come up on your price point. And the last thing is timing. And that's where that life event comes in, where they basically, it's like, okay, I got to pull the trigger. We've got to make this happen. All right.
Yeah. Rarely do people sacrifice the product, though. They usually come up on their price.
That's right. So here's what we're going to do. And for your aspirational, you've got to work in your weekly email system. Chelsea's a really good example of this. She sends out that email. Listen, it doesn't need to be, hey, 10 things to get ready to sell your house this spring. That's boring. We're going to teach you about that here in a minute. Your research, we're going to be a little more actively in touch with them. And then the transactional, we're going to be in an active relationship where we're talking very regularly about their home search and refining that home search. So in your weekly email, okay, so go ahead and take a second and write this down, because this is going to be a foundational thing. In your weekly email, so this is how you do it. Week 1 is a market update. Week 2 is a community event. What's going on in the community? Week 3 is a local business highlight. Week 4 is your restaurant or small business of the week, whatever one you want to do. All right. So these 4 categories, these are just a starter for your email. Baseline for any sort of database building, you need to have a weekly email. By the way, this is not a weekly email webinar. This is just the basis. If you are not doing a weekly email, get started on it.
I promise you, by the end of week 12, maybe 16, you're going to have all your templates built. You're going to have everything kind of ready to go. All you're going to have to do is plug in the new events, plug in the weekly update. It's going to get easier and easier. And it is a no-brainer. I can't tell you how many times my wife and I have sent out a weekly email. Someone stopped us in some sort of event that we're at and be like, hey, I got your email. That's all it takes is now, right. Now you're on the brain.
I'm telling you. That's exactly right. Okay, so we're gonna jump into some. Now, we may lose people here. If you are in a brokerage, or if you are of the mindset for sell by owners don't work, you can go ahead and leave now. I can point to, example after example after example of for sell by owners that have turned into hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm talking about in the last 12 months. My 18-year-old realtor daughter, her first listing for sell by owner, $2.1 million. Okay. Do not tell me they don't work. The reason that people think they don't work is their approach is completely wrong, and it's nuanced, but it is not difficult. We're going to talk about that for a second. So first of all, any lead source, if you're buying Zillow leads for $700 a pop, or you're buying a zip code that's $5,000 a month, your conversion rate is going to be between 10 and 16%. Or actually, it's lower.
Yeah, it's lower now.
But on a for sale by owner with proper follow-up, you're going to get a 10 to 16% conversion rate. For every 10 that you go to, you're going to get 1 to 2 listings if you're following up properly. Okay. By the way, who's going to list their house? Every single one of them. Oh, like 90%. The people you talk to, they're like, oh, I sell all my houses for sale by owner. No, they don't. They're saying that is just, but it is not true.
There was a time where they probably, listed less, like during COVID when you could put anything on the market and it would sell. But right now I can tell you that's probably higher than 87%.
Yeah, that's exactly right. FSBOs lead to listings, by the way, and listings are leverage because you can pick up 2 buyers for every listing, guys. For every listing you get. Now, if you are still thinking, hey, I'm just a buyer's agent or I'm just a listing agent, we're not doing that anymore. Don't think that way, right? You need to be doing both to build a fully sustainable business. Now, if you're on a team or whatever, you follow your coach's instruction. But here's what I can tell you: for a professional real estate agent, we're going to have to switch and be able to do both. It's not that hard. I don't know why we ever separated them.
Yeah. You get a listing, you get a sign in the yard. You've now got open houses you can do. You're going to get buyers from that. You've now got a sign in the yard, going to get sign calls. You're going to get buyers from that. It opens up so many doors. So getting listings is key, but that doesn't mean you don't work the buyers as well.
All right. Now we're going to send this out in script too, but I want you to take notes. So the first thing that we're going to do is I wanted to share with you the concept of a pattern interrupt, which is when somebody answers the phone, right, and to a number they don't know, what's going to make them not hang up? Because I can tell you, how many sales calls do I get a day? A bazillion, right? And as soon as I sense any ounce of sales or marketing call, I'm like, how quickly can I get off the phone?
Which means your first 15 seconds are ultra important.
Your first 1 second. Your first 5 seconds.
If I can already tell it's going to go terribly, I hang up. But if someone catches my attention in the first 15 seconds, I'll listen to what they have to say.
That's right.
That's the pattern interrupt.
All right. So here's what I'm going to tell you. You're going to call them and you're going to say, hey, it's Brandon from 10 Oaks Real Estate. Hey, I'm not calling to list your house. Okay. All right, so that's just an example. We've got a couple of other examples here.
And by the way, you've already handled an objection as well, because their first thing they're going to say is, "Oh, real estate agent, I've got an for sale by owner. They're trying to list my house."
All right, so here's the perfect script. Again, we're going to send this out, and make sure you're listening here. Hey, it's Brandon with 10 Oaks Real Estate. Hey, I'm not calling to list your house. Wanted to reach out. I've got an open house that's coming Sunday, and I'm highlighting a few off-market properties at that open house to anybody that might be interested. So I want to provide value to the people that are coming in. I saw your house online. The pictures look great. I'd love to come take a little bit of video of it, take a few pictures of it. I know they're online, but that's the way I can share it on my social media profile and share videos with people that come in the open house. Is there a time I can come by and take a look?
And by the way, now you've handled several other objections, which are typically like, hey, the picture's online, you shouldn't need to come by, things like that. So you're handling those as well.
This will get you in the door to houses, right? Did I say, by the way, that after that, schedule an appointment, get off the phone? This whole thing should take 90 seconds, no more than 3 minutes. Get off the phone. Don't say, oh, tell me about your listing. Tell me about this. Tell me about this. Why are you selling? We're going to do that at the appointment. So don't worry about that. The next thing is this is one of those things where agents, they go, hey, if I'm calling and everybody else is calling and everybody on this call is calling, by the way, of the people that are on this call, well, maybe 1 or 2 of you will do this because it's hard to pick up the phone and make calls today. So you guys that actually will do the work, if this is your mindset, like, I don't know, there's going to be too many people calling, you need to think differently. There are actually not that many. And there are very few that will do it at the degree, at the level, and be able to set an appointment. So do it. Do the work. FSBOs don't work. Yes, they do. We already talked about that. People will be rude. Maybe you'll get one out of 5 that maybe is kind of a jerk, but you can turn them. Very rarely do you get people that are like, do not ever call me again. Does it happen? Sure. I hate cold calling. Guess what? We're in a new market, and this is real estate right now. And you're going to have to pick up the phone. You're going to have to make outbound phone calls.
Get a few wins. I mean, everybody hates cold calling. Let's be honest. But get a few wins, and it starts to become a game. It starts to become a little bit fun. That's what we hear most often. It's like, hey, I got a few appointments. I got a few listings, and it started to become a game to me. I wanted to see if I could turn the jerk, or if I could turn this person, or if this person said, I'm never going to list my house, and they ended up listing with me. It starts to become fun.
The other thing is that, and I want to be very clear about this, and this messes with agents a lot. They're thinking like, oh, I'm going to the property to list the house. You're not. You're going to verify that you're a real person, and you're going to make a friend, right? Learn about the house. I don't want you pitching at that first appointment. You're not winning or losing. Look, this is going to take 10 to 14 follow-ups before it actually becomes a listing of some sort of communication, because they're going to be asking questions as they start to get closer to listing their house. So it's about warming them up until the time they're ready to make the decision. So don't think it's like, oh, I'm going to win or lose, or I'm going to list it. Here's how it works, okay? You're going to make 40 calls, because there's going to be people that don't answer. It's going to set 10 appointments. Of 10 appointments, you're going to get 5. You're going to 10 appointments set. People are going to no-show reschedule. You're going to go to 5 appointments, and for every 5 met, you're going to get 1 listing with proper follow-up. Now, those 40 calls, if you did 5 calls a day, right? We're setting 2 to 3 appointments a week. Okay. I would encourage you to up that to where you're setting an appointment every single day for sell by owner, right? Or you're going on an appointment every single day. So I would say, hey, look, we're making 10 calls a day, and then we're going to basically go on 5 appointments that week. And then that'll get you in the rhythm. Now, it's not going to happen the first week, okay? But once we get 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks into this, you're going to start getting a listing a week with proper follow-up.
I've told this story a couple times, and so some of you may have heard it, but I know a mortgage guy, broker. He's up in Michigan. 300 mortgages closed last year by himself. His strategy, he wakes up every morning, and he starts calling at 8 a.m., doesn't stop until he sets 1 appointment, and then he stops every day. Well, I should say every day but Sunday. He does it Monday through Saturday, doesn't stop till he gets an appointment. 300 mortgages closed last year. He made like $8 million just because that's what he does every day. And sometimes it's the first call gets an appointment. Sometimes it's 40 calls and gets an appointment. Mm-hmm. But the key is you don't have to go you don't have to go that hard at it. But if you make 40 phone calls in a week, you're going to set 10 appointments.
That's right.
And 40 calls is not that difficult, and it'll get easier and easier. So you may start off, you may have to make 60 calls to get 10 appointments. You may have to make 70, but pretty soon you're going to get pretty good at handling all the objections, because you're going to have heard them all, and you'll make less and less phone calls.
Okay, here's the objections you're going to get. Okay, do you have a buyer? We already covered that in that script. You'd be like, hey, I don't know, potentially. I've got a ton of people that are in the process of buying. I want to get this information to them. That's all you got to say, right?
By the way, we talk about this a lot too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's okay.
Don't ever make up stories.
Never.
It'll be so hard to unwind. 1, it's unethical, but 2, it's so hard to unwind. Like some people want to say like, oh, I've got this buyer from California. They're looking, and yes, I have a buyer. Don't lie. Now you could maybe say my firm has a lot of buyers and sellers, which is true. But I would just lean into, I've got this open house. Buyers are going to be walking through the door. So that's true. Yeah. But don't ever make up stories.
Okay. The other thing is, hey, I'm not going to list my house. Yes, they are. Right. Okay. No problem. Right. We'd love to come by and get some, we can talk about that later. Right. I'm not willing to work with a realtor. Yeah. They all say that. Right. That's why they listed for sale by owner. Here's what I can tell you. As you are working through these first few calls, your first 10 are going to suck. Take notes. Right. Think about, okay, when they say that again, what I'm going to say, right? And we go into, we can't go into this kind of level of detail. We have an answer for all of these, right? But here's what I can tell you. Someone's getting sold on the call. Either you're selling them on why they need you to come to the house, or they're selling you on why they don't.
Yeah. And keep in mind, look, even if you don't get the listing, all is not lost, right? You now know about this off-market listing that's like candy to adults, right? So you can literally talk knowledgeably, look like the most knowledgeable realtor in your area because you know about these off-market listings that other people don't know about. So it's not a wasted appointment regardless.
That's right. All right. So here's what I'm going to tell you. When you go to the house, by the way, there's an awkward moment where they open the door and somebody's going to determine who's in charge. Right. So you'd be like, hey, listen, you need to be the first one to speak. Okay. And you're not going to be pushy. You'd be like, hey, great to meet you. Yeah, we talked on the phone. Hey, would be great. Would you show me around? Show me what you've done with the place and tell me some things about it that I need to know. Okay, so that way they're giving you a tour. Otherwise, and by the way, I've made this mistake before. If you don't do that, they're going to go, all right, we'll just look around.
Yeah.
And then now we're at it. Now we have a conflict.
When they start showing me around, I'm immediately looking around the house for something that can connect us.
That's right.
Whether it's like sports memorabilia, we can talk about sports, or whether it's like I see something from a kid's school and I'm like, oh, your kids go to Hillsborough, like something where I can start to talk about something that makes us the same. So you're immediately looking around the house trying to find something.
That's right. You want to be the same as them, right? We're not there to pitch, okay? And we're looking to answer two questions. When do they want to move and why do they want to move? And that's called timing and intention. All right. So what that is, and here's the great way to ask both of those questions. One of them is like, oh my gosh, this is such a great house. Why would you guys want to leave? Now we know why. Okay. And then the second one is like, hey, if I were to bring a buyer to you, about how much time do you need to move? Right. And then that will help you determine what stage they're in terms of selling their home.
I'll give you a quick story. My wife's first ever listing, she's from Mississippi. She walked in the door, was walking through the house for sale by owner, and she noticed I can't remember what it was. It was some kind of framed picture of a place in Mississippi, and she talked about that one picture. Yeah. And it turns out the lady was from Jackson. My wife is from Greenwood, Mississippi, and they hit it off because they're both from Mississippi. Exactly. And next thing you know, she has a listing. That's just an example of a picture on the wall turned into a conversation, turned into finding out you're both from the same area. And next thing you know, you're the same and you've got the listing.
You're the same makes you likable. People like people who are like them, right? So we're going to look for that commonality. All right. On your follow-up, which is the most important piece. Okay. This is where you're staying consistent, even when they're non-responsive. Most of the time with for sale by owners, you're going to text them and they're not going to get back with you. You're going to call them and they're not going to get back with you. That's the most likely scenario, because if they're on Zillow or whatever, what's happening? They're getting bombarded and they're trying to sort through. And here's what for sale by owners don't understand. This is the biggest flaw, is you don't have any way to sort through all of the calls and texts and emails to find out what's real or what's not. And it becomes overwhelming and it'll shut you down.
Yep.
Because, by the way, when you list on the MLS, if somebody wants to come see that house, they've got to use a professional with a signed agreement, and then they have to have some way to access the home. So, and schedule an appointment. Okay, so we're narrowing all of these calls into one, because if for sale by owner, it's getting everything from, hey, will you guys do a lease purchase, to would you consider renting it out? All of this stuff. And they don't have any way to sort it. It becomes overwhelming. So you just have to follow up with them enough to where they go, hey, what was the name of that realtor that's been following up with us? And they better not have to scroll to the bottom of their texts. And they better not have to scroll to the bottom of their email. You need to be, and I'm not saying you got to follow up every single day, but you need to follow up appropriate to the time that they need to get out of the house.
Yeah. And don't just reach out and say, hey, just wanted to follow up. No. Always reach out to provide value.
Make a connection. By the way,
always providing value.
Best way to follow up is if they're moving somewhere in your city, is to send them, hey, this house came on the market. Just thought it looked like you guys.
Or, hey, I heard you guys like to go to festivals. There's a festival downtown Franklin this week. Or just anything that you can do just to provide value. You're not just reaching out to say, hey, just wanted to follow up. That's the worst.
Exactly.
That's the worst.
And it makes it personal, because here's the deal. If you think of like commonality, right? If you go to someone and it's an Ole Miss person, right? And because you went to school there.
Yep.
Right? And you're watching the basketball game, you can follow up with them by going, dude, did you see this? Are you watching this game?
Exactly.
Right? And now we're the same and we're buddies.
Yep.
Versus, hey, just following up. You guys ready to sell yet?
Yeah.
No, make a connection.
And trust me, it's going to take 14 to 16, sometimes more touches. before, anything happens, people always appreciate the follow-up. People see you as a real professional when you actually follow up, because guess what? Most people, they're going to ping you one time, you're going to quit responding, and they're going to quit, and then nothing ever happens, and you don't look like a professional. You look like somebody who doesn't follow up.
All right, let's pause and go to the comments. I want to make sure you guys are still alive. Tell me one takeaway you've gotten so far, and tell me, or something that you.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, Dave. Give me like a takeaway so far. I want to make sure you guys are still alive and breathing. And we're gonna start talking about open houses here in just a second. By the way, again, a lot of agents say they don't work, which is great for you. When agents say something doesn't work, and I can promise you it does, it's great for you in terms of developing a business, because that means there's fewer people doing it.
Yep.
When somebody says open houses don't work, I'm like, great, see ya. Let you disappear into obscurity.
All right.
Any takeaways? All right, there we go.
Be open to
All right. Tasha says, be open to a listing and buyer's agent. Actually, I have a cold call to follow up after this webinar. Great info. Thanks. Angela, follow up more often. Yes. Monthly newsletter. Yes. That's right. Don't expect to get at the list. You're not winning or losing on that first appointment. Absolutely.
In fact, we didn't even talk about that, but we don't even recommend pitching at the first appointment. We recommend walking in, providing value, finding commonality, and leaving.
Let me just kind of give you like a little pro tip. Here's what you're going to find out and learn. When you get really good at for sale by owners, you're going to connect with them so well. You're going to communicate so well. You're going to share such great information and knowledge and wisdom of the marketplace that they will chase you out, and they'll start asking you questions to pull you back in.
And by the way, we're also suggesting not pitching on the first appointment, to keep your word. I'm not trying to, one of the things you say when you call is like, hey, I'm going to show up at this appointment, but I'm not going to try to list your house. You're not pitching that. You're just providing value. And hopefully you guys end up working together, but different discussion.
All right. So we're going to make a hard shift to open houses. All right. Again, a lot of agents don't think these work. They work phenomenally. It's just about creating a big enough event that people are coming in. We want to average 10 people a week on these things, but you've got to do the work on the front end. So,
by the way, check with your broker. We're both brokers, and we allow this at our brokerage. Some brokerages don't allow you to host open houses for other brokerages. So check with your broker. We're not suggesting you break any of your rules, but everything we teach here, we allow in our own brokerage. That's all we can account for. And
that's right. All right. Here's the primary concept you have to understand as an open house. It is not about the house. It is a real estate store, and the product is you, your knowledge, your information, your skill set. And we'll teach you how to develop that as you go out and do open houses. But quit trying to sell the house. Sell you.
This is the only place in real estate that people walk in the front door as if it were a store to buy real estate in front of you, face to face. The only place. So
I just want you to think about for a second. Remember we talked about the 4 pillars, like cold inbound. These are people who don't know you that are walking in the door with some intention to buy. Now, by the numbers, remember we talked about aspirational, research, transactional. Okay, your aspirational people, they're just looky-loos, but there's going to be 3 out of 10 that are in the transactional phase. How about we open this up so you can connect with them?
Yep.
Right? Would you like to connect with 3 potential buyers that are going to buy in the next year every single week?
And by the way, if the husband's there, it's real serious, because I would not go to an open house. I can tell you right now, I would not go to an open house if we weren't buying a house.
All right, I'm going to tell my story. This is 15 years ago when I first got into real estate, and my wife was like, do you have to do an open house every Sunday? Because we got kids' birthday parties. I got a ton of kids. We got kids' birthday parties, and somebody wants to do dinner and blah, blah, blah. And so I go, I don't know. Let me go kind of look at the numbers. And so I went back and I go, all right, let me just look at this last 12 months income. How many of these people came from open houses? Here's what I was able to determine. I was making $1,500 an open house in 15 years ago? 2000, whatever it was. 2012. All right. So I want you to think about that. 15 years ago, I was making $1,500 a week. So I was making $6,000 a month on just open houses. So it was $700 an hour. So I went back. I said, okay, here are the numbers. She goes, we're going to do open houses.
Yeah, we need to do it.
All right. So again, we did talk about this. So one is like ready to buy. 3 of them are in the process. One's ready to buy. And I have sold open houses on the open house to the person that's walked in the door.
But those are rare. Most of the time, like you said, it's not about that house, but it happens.
It does happen. We had an agent make like $70,000.
Especially when, it's a kind of a down market, not a lot of inventory. It can certainly happen.
Okay, so here's what you do. If you, again, this is what RL said, some brokerages don't allow this. We do. Call busy agents, grab a cup of coffee, reach out to agents in your brokerage, or you can do it for sell by owner for an open house.
And most people hate open houses, so they don't want to do them. So it's an easy sell.
But they also, like their clients want them to do them.
Right,
so it's really not that difficult. There's plenty of people that allow. If your broker will allow it, great. If not, do it for an agent in your brokerage. Okay. It's real simple. We even have scripting for that, which is Brandon from 10 Oaks. I'm an agent in the area. Want to connect with you. You're super successful. Hey, I want to do open houses, but I'd love to sort of explore if you need any help with the listings that you have. Okay.
My favorite is to do them for sell by owners, though.
Yeah.
Because now you're providing value, and eventually they're, if you're providing value to them for nothing in return, they're going to use you.
That's exactly right. Yeah. For sell by owners are great to do open houses. Okay. All right. So your preparation is real simple. Do not wait until the last second, 15 minutes before the open house and start sticking out signs. Don't do that. By the way, I have. It's dumb. Okay. Sign in the yard on Monday. Make sure it's on the MLS. And do 5 previews for houses in the neighborhood. You need to know what your competition is, and you need to speak knowledgeably, because when you go see 5 houses, what do you learn? Average price point, average remodel, what's the school system, what's the average square footage. You'll be amazed at what you can learn. Now, I want you to think, if we do an open house every week, let's say we're going to take Mother's Day off and we're going to take Christmas weekend off, okay? And Thanksgiving weekend. So we're going to do 49 open houses times 5 previews makes you an area expert in 1 year.
You've almost walked through 250 homes. So here's what I'll say. The house previews are so underrated, because guess what? When people walk through your open house, they typically don't want to buy that house. It's almost always true. But now 5 other houses in that general area that might meet the criteria that they're going to tell you that they want. I liked this one, but I really wanted a 3-2 with the master on main, or the primary bedroom on main. And you're going to say, have you seen the one on, Front Street? It's got that same setup. I can show it to you right after this. You're going to look like such an expert. That They are way underrated.
That's absolutely right. Okay. So, we talked about that. Again, if you do this, right, directional signs, make sure you've got enough of them. I promise you don't. I mean, basically, I want to get to the major intersection, and I don't want to have to use a GPS to be able to get to your open house. That's how I would train my agents. I'm like, all right, I'm coming to do an open house with you. Do not let me get lost on the way to your open house. Make sure you got enough signage. Keep flyers very simple. Again, it's about you and not the house. Door knocking. This is great to do on Saturday.
Another underrated thing.
Yeah. 5 on either side, 10 across, right? So you're door knocking 20 houses. By the way, you are showcasing your work ethic to the neighbors. And when they're ready to list their house, they're going to be like, I want to call that agent was
really out there trying to sell this house.
That's right. Okay. And then you'll call agents on the listings of interest in the neighborhood, find out, hey, are they vacant? Because here's another thing that you can do. And I've done this so many times. You can take people and show them a house. I basically say, hey, I'll meet you there at 4:30. I'll wrap this up. I'll meet you at that house if you want to see it at 4:30. By the way, your chances of picking it up as a buyer go up by like 40%.
Door knocking, probably 5 of those 15 or 20 houses that you door knock, probably 5 of them are going to be really abrupt, but you're going to get like 5 chatty Cathys who want to tell you all the scoop on the neighborhood.
Oh man, you're right.
That scoop, when people walk through your open house that you can share, and I'm not suggesting you gossip, but if it's stuff that's shareable, totally makes you look like an expert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just go be like, hey, we're doing open house. Bring the kids. We'll have some ice cream, we'll have cookies, whatever. You want to see the house? Hey, what do you love most about the neighborhood?
Yeah,
and
you probably can't get them to shut up at that point.
If you do that on 49 weeks, you're the expert in your market.
Because people are going to walk through the door. You're going to be like, hey, I talked to Kathy yesterday. She said that every spring they get out and they do a block party. And it's amazing. Like, you're going to know that.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Okay, so preparation day of, again, arrive early, at least 20 minutes. Make sure you got lights on. Make sure you got music so it's not awkward. There needs to be a little bit of noise in the house. It can be kind of like light jazz or whatever. All right, but have some music in the house. And here's one that's a real controversial. We don't like sign-in sheets.
I hate them.
Hate them. Why? Why would we hate them? Because when people come in, right, and you have a sign-in sheet, you think they're going to give you the correct information. They don't want to be marketed to. Well, they don't want a phone call.
And it's an instant turnoff. And yes, I know there's some brokers out there that require them. I get it. And so if you're required to do one, fulfill the requirement in the easiest way possible. But sticking a sign-up sheet in someone's face is an instant turnoff. You're trying to make yourself the same. You're trying to get commonality. And sticking a sign-up sheet in their face is a way to just instantly get them to turn around and walk out the door.
By the way, bring something with you to do. You can do your planner for the week. You can clean out your email, do whatever. Make sure you
phone calls.
Make phone calls, right? But you want to be doing something when they walk in. And this is how it goes. They're going to be, hey, come on in. Let me get you a sheet on the house. Give them a sheet. Introduce yourself. And then basically, once we've done the introduction, be like, hey, great. Let me. You guys take a look around. Let me know if you have any questions. Right. By the way, tell me what you think. Give them an assignment. Tell me what you think of the master bedroom. They just remodeled it. And then they're going to come back to you. Instead of just escaping out of the back door because you gave them an assignment.
Yep.
Then all you have to do is you just have to ask. So what are you guys looking for?
They're going to tell you all the things that they didn't like about this house and what they're looking for, and then you went to the preview, so you're going to know 5 houses that may or may not meet that criteria right out of the gate.
Because they're going to come. Here's the deal: they're not buying that house in most cases. They're going to come in and they're going to be like, they're either shopping a little bit above or they're shopping in the neighborhood or whatever, and they're like, well, this one's a little too big, or we need another bedroom. And if you've seen those previews, you can be like, oh, did you see the one over on Juniper? That one does have a 5th bedroom. It needs a little bit of like a repaint, but it's in great shape.
Or even better, you did your 20 door knocks and you can be like, hey, Kathy's listing her house in a month and she's got a 3.2 and it's in the same neighborhood. Would that be interesting to you? I can share it to you when it comes live.
Man, I'm telling you, listings that are off market are catnip to buyers and sellers, and you will get names and phone numbers, but you have to do your homework for the open house.
Yep.
You can't just show up and something's going to happen. Okay. Follow up super easy. It's just an email. Hey, I saw what you guys were looking for. Is this right? Okay. And then
be very specific in that email. Make sure you nail everything they said. You don't want to get it wrong and it looks unprofessional, but if you kind of send them an email that wraps up everything they told you, that's going to look really professional.
All right. By the way, this will be in your downloads. We're going to have an open house checklist, everything that needs to be done. So that'll be a part of it. Okay, let's go back to the.
Man, we packed this thing full. I didn't realize
we did. Sorry, I told you we were giving everything away.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So can we look at the comments real quick? Everybody good? Are you still with us? Give me a thumbs up. All right. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're alive.
Yeah, way out's much better. If you need to do a sign up sheet for any reason, way out is definitely the way to do that.
All right, good. Yeah, that's exactly right. But here's what I'm going to tell you. So, Honorata, don't make them sign up on the way out. I want you to connect with them on the way out. I want you to connect with them on the way out. Hey, Brenda, good to see you. So make the connection first. I had an agent reach out to me the other day and she said, hey, I'm going to a networking event. Do I need to have like a name tag? Do I need to have some branded material? I'm like, no, you need to go make connections and then schedule a follow-up appointment. Okay. All right. So by the way, client events, this is a great thing that you can invite everyone to. Everybody you met at open house, everybody you talked to at a for sale by owner, all of your friends and family, anybody you go to church with, anybody you're in a charity with, right? So now we're touching our whole network of people in various stages, aspirational, research, transactional, right? We can reach out to everybody this way. This is a great way to do it. And if you do it service oriented, even better. This is just a couple of examples. By the way, that pick on the bottom, that's the Picks with Santa event that we did. Those are all my buddies in the neighborhood. Those are my neighbors.
And one of them bought and one of them sold with you, right?
Yeah. So, and their parents, right? Not only are they buying, their parents are buying and selling with me, right? Because we got to know them, right? Can you go back to that real quick? And then the dumpster event, just real quick. This is people love this one because it's like you pay $500, you get a dumpster, take it to your driveway, have it delivered on Friday, have it picked up on Monday, and then just have people just come throw their crap away. And by the way, who's throwing away a bunch of crap?
People that want
to move, right?
For sure.
Okay, so we can have that conversation. By the way, we'll have this in the download too. Your event planning checklist, all that stuff will be there for you in the download. All right, so here's your perfect pipeline. This is what we've been talking about. Okay, your past clients are cold. They just need to get a weekly email, or you're aspirational. Get a weekly email, and you're inviting them to the events.
Yeah, I've always had a weekly email on the mortgage side, but I just started doing on the real estate side with my wife. And we were just at a party with some people I used to work with many years ago. They invited us, showed up, and for like 45 minutes, we were talking about my weekly email. Mm-hmm. Like people were coming up to me saying, "Hey, I'm so glad you guys started this. Like it's nice to see what you guys are up to." Guess what? When one of them goes to buy or sell, that weekly email is what's going to solidify it.
Here's I'm going to give you a tactic real quick that will change your life if you're doing these client events. Okay, every client event, I want you to take 60 minutes, 1 hour of your day, and text your database and be like, "Hey, I just want to make sure you knew about this event that's coming up. Here's what I can promise you." Somebody's going to say, "Hey, I've been meaning to reach out to you."
Yep.
So are you seeing how these things work in synergy with one another? I've got a client event, right? But I'm keeping my database and I'm following up with value. And then all of a sudden I'm a top level marketer and lead generator. And by the way, I'm not really bugging anybody and I'm not being a jerk. And I'm not saying, "Hey, do you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell?" I'm just providing value to my community and to the people I'm interacting with. All we're doing right now is teaching you how to provide value to people. That's what you have to get. Quit thinking about, "Hey, what can I get out of this person?" and start thinking about, "What can I give to this person? What can I give to my community?" That's going to turn the tables for you. Okay? And again, it is not linear. Like those guys in my neighborhood, by the way, we've all lived together for 5 years. They're not buying or selling a house. It's their parents and they're calling me. It's their friends and they're calling me. And by the way, when somebody posts something on the neighborhood Facebook page, who do you think they refer? I'm the most active agent in my neighborhood because I'm doing this stuff and providing value to everybody.
I saw a podcast with Terry Crews, that massive dude that's in all those TV shows, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, some of those others. He said the amount of income you make is directly proportionate to the amount of people you serve.
That's right.
So always think of it in that light, right? You're just trying to serve people. You're trying to provide value at all times, and they will reciprocate. Like it will come back to you. As long as you're treating it as, I'm just trying to provide value, kind of like what we're doing here. We're just trying to give it all away. It will come back to you. And that's how you have to think of the real estate business.
By the way, the social media part is as simple as this. Everything we're telling you, just put it on your social media. That's it. That's it.
I had an agent reach out to me this week about my newsletter that I sent out on the mortgage side and said, "Hey, do you mind if I share this on my social media? I promise that I'll say it's from you." I was like, "You don't even have to say it's from me. Just share it. That's what it's for." Yeah. Like I sent out a weekly email on the mortgage side to real estate agents because I want you to know what's going on in the mortgage space. Send it out and say you came up with it. I don't care.
That's exactly right. By the way, hey, shoot us a text or email if you want to be on that list. There's great market content on that.
Yeah,
All right. Sure. So research people, weekly email, which we're already doing at the quarterly caller event. Okay, we're doing a monthly check-in. Be like, "Hey guys, just want to check in. Here's what's going on with the market. Hope you guys are doing great. Here's by the way, I didn't know if you saw the community events. Here you go." Right? Just a monthly check-in, and then personal email with homes of interest. By the way, when you set that search for clients, send to you forward to them with a personal note. Okay? I know this is a lot. You're drinking from a fire hose. Okay, transactional buyers, weekly email, quarterly caller event, personal email with homes of interest, and then you're doing a twice a month check-in with the same thing. All right.
We're at Q&A time.
Okay. Goodness gracious. Did we go fast or what? That was a lot. This is the time for questions. By the way, again, let us know you're alive. Did you like it? What was your takeaway? What do you need more help with? What do you guys think?
So the last question there, so we're not doing a sign-up sheet. We're not suggesting that, but on the way out, you've given them assignment. They've come back to kind of give you their answer. You say like, "Hey, what are you looking for?" And then they kind of give you some criteria, and then that's when you're asking for, hey, look, shoot me your phone number, your email, and I'll get back to you with a list of homes that meet that criteria. And that's how you're doing the follow up.
Yeah, it's real simple. The other thing is, like, if you've made a connection, again, I can say, hey, let me send you the info on that house real quick before, it's like, here's the one. Let me send you some info on it, and I can text them. By the way, those listings of interest, go ahead and text them to yourself so you've got the quick link and be like, let me text you because here's what I want. I don't really care about their email that much. The first thing I'm going for is their phone number. And then I'll be like, hey, give me your email. And then I just make sure I got the number, make sure, and I'll follow up with you guys.
And once you've found some level of commonality, once you've kind of given them an assignment, they've come back. At this point, it's probably safe to ask for their phone number. Like, right. They've came. If they didn't want to give it to you, they would have head out the door when you give them the assignment. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that.
All right. What else, guys? Any other? Give me your takeaways again on this list. What was your number one takeaway from this today? By the way, so once we finalize today, okay. We're going to send an email with a replay in it. We're going to send an email with all of those downloads in it. But here's what I want to tell you that we're doing. We are launching our mastermind that's going to meet every other week. It's going to be $59 a month for the first 10 people. By the way, not only are you going to get access to RL and I on a twice a month mastermind where you can ask us questions, right? And we can talk about your business and we can talk about what's going on. Not only can we do that, you're going to get full access to our pre-recorded virtual six-figure school, which basically goes through all the stuff that we covered today times 5 with more depth, detail, with more downloads, with more resources. All of that's going to be coming. And we're going to be adding content as we move this thing along. So you're basically joining, it's like a fitness club for real estate agents, where they're like, we're doing new workouts and we're doing what, right? We're going to be giving all of that to you at first 10. Now it's going to be a $99 a month product, but for the first 10 that sign up, it's going to be $59. So make sure when that email comes up, sign up for that. Guys, you're not even going to miss $59 a month, right? This is the bare minimum you should be investing in your business, just so you're not in an echo chamber with your business. So you're not listening to your own thoughts. You need to do this as we're navigating this market, this uncertainty. The best way to do that is in community. So you're not caught, you're never short on ideas. You're never short on encouragement. You're never short on energy. You're never short on information. And then you're never stuck in your own head, because if you do get stuck in your own head, it's a very dangerous place to be. In your business, you want to be in a community of people that can help you and speak into you. Jack says he likes the phone number. Oh, phone number over you. Yeah, go for the phone number. Right now, we can get their email later, because if you get their phone number, they'll give you their email. If you get their email, they won't necessarily give you their phone number.
Exactly.
So go for their phone number first. Thank you, Clay, on the perfect pipeline. Yes, being consistent, have a plan. Secret sauce, just do it. That's right. It's going to take massive action. All right. Guys, thank you.
The downloads will be coming via email. The replay will be coming via email. Have that. Do whatever you want with it. And anything else? And that's it. We're going to see you on the mastermind, because I know you guys are going to sign up. It's going to be a phenomenal opportunity for you. First 10, $59. I love you guys. Let us know if we can do anything for you. In the meantime, reach out via text, email. You can find all that stuff online on our website, theagentbridge.com. You can find everything that you need to get in touch with us, but we'll be following up with that email, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks, guys. Thanks.